Uncover tales of knights, dragons, pirates, and more, across a variety of genres and media from the ancient to the modern period. Literature, movies, comics, and video games. Indulge the allure of all things marvelous and strange as we discuss texts such as Beowulf, Le Morte d'Arthur, The Hobbit, Treasure Island, How to Train Your Dragon, Skyrim, and more. Explore how the stories of legendary monsters, heroes, and villains help us define the boundaries of what it means to be human, how language itself constitutes a kind of magic, and how no model of heroism, charisma, and power comes without its complications. Play D&D, handle ancient manuscripts, and enjoy a medieval feast.
This camp is directed primarily to people in 10th to 12th grade who are interested in all things mythological, dragon-like, pirate-like, and want to know about the origins of some of our most popular video games, comics, movies, and TV shows. So we'll be exploring things like The Hobbit, Skyrim, D&D, and looking at where the fascination with the subject matter, especially dragons, comes from.
Since I was a little kid, I've always been interested in the mythological world. I used to play D&D. It was a great way to get away from the real world and kind of make my own world along with my friends. I also just enjoy the cinematography that they have in with some of the new movies and videos that have come out. The fantasy around it and being able to create different worlds and imagine what you yourself would do if you were in that world.
One of the things that we stress when we're talking about Dungeons & Dragons and about games like Skyrim is how much they're about the power of language, the power of words. Particularly if you look at the origins of Dungeons & Dragons, which has really come roaring back into resurgence in the last couple of years. Dungeons & Dragons is all about using words to create a very vivid landscape where all sorts of things are possible, but also all kinds of rules and complicated ethical questions are engaged in governing your behavior. And you can create all of this just through dialogue and some guidebooks. You don't need complicated graphic backgrounds, complicated set dressings. You might have a few props, but really all you need is the power of words to work with you.
One of the things that I'm really drawn to is the connection between people and stories and magic. So what I'd like to eventually write a thesis on is the connection between how people are basically inherently stories and how in all the mythological stories around the world we always see an element of magic, and how that connection and sort of divine or magical influence lies in all of us. I really wish that the Myth and Legends camp had been around when I was in high school, because when I got to college I thought that all of the time for all of that stuff was over. It's fairy stories, like that's never going to be applicable, especially as an English major you're going to be reading quote unquote boring classical books. But instead, having an opportunity like this camp would have made me realize that you get to increase the kind of fun you're having, and you get to increase your enjoyment of these modern things because they're all predicated on these ancient lores and textbooks from way back in the day. And to be able to explore that in high school and figure out that it's okay to pursue your passion and go after it would have been a really great opportunity, and I'm so glad that it's around right now.